Craig James' late entry shakes up the Republican Senate race, but can he raise support and money? We'll ask him. He's our guest. PolitiFact Texas finds a foreign policy claim made by the Obama campaign is pants on fire. And on Roundtable, gay marriage meets controversy for Dallas and Fort Worth mayors.
Jim moved to the city of Dallas.
And good morning and welcome to Inside Texas Politics. Our guest today, Republican U.S. Senate candidate Craig James, and joining the questioning, Colleen McCain-Nelson, editorial writer with the Dallas Morning News. Gromer Jeffers is on assignment in sunny Florida with the primary today. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm a big fan of your show. I've told you that many years, so it's a treat to be here and an honor.
Thank you. Thank you. First time here. Well, late in the week, the latest twist in the race, as you know, was on Thursday you released your tax returns for 5 years, and suddenly the other prominent candidates, Dewhurst, Leppert, Cruz, all said they'd follow, so you must be pleased with that.
Well, you know what, for me, my intentions were to really get out there and let people know all about me. Total transparency, you know, and it's such a short time that I have to let people really know who I am and what I stand for. So I thought total transparency of who I am, the successes that I've had in my ranching and my real estate. You see my business interest and my success there. So I'm trying to tell the story and just be totally honest.
Colleen?
Well, now Republicans have made the argument that we don't want to expand the welfare state, that nonprofits and churches can help those who need it. So how should we interpret the fact that you made $9 million in the last 5 years and gave only 1% of that to charity, knowing that those nonprofits and churches rely on the generosity of others?
Not a good percent, is it? You know, I understand. I wish I could give $1 million to my church. I do give my testimonies. I give my time and my energy there. What doesn't show on that, though, is I am a charitable guy. My wife and I, we help people, our family, friends, neighbors that aren't 501c3 organizations, but they have the same needs. And so I do help people. I wish I could give more, but I can't. And so you know, I try to take care of a lot of different people and responsibilities, and I feel good about that.
Well, we have yet to see what the other candidates are going to do. Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst and Mayor Leppert and Cruz have all indicated that they're going to release their returns. Cruz said that he would only release his if Leppert and Dewhurst did, kind of like, well, if they do, I will. How do you interpret that?
Well, I interpret it just as it is. You know, if you have to get consensus before you do something, that's not leadership. You know, do you think it was comfortable for me and my wife to step out there and fully expose ourselves? We didn't have to do that. We did it. It's the right thing to do. And if you're seeking higher office in today's world, I think voters, if we're going to humbly ask for them to elect us and let them be their representative, they need to have full disclosure of who you are. So don't be a follower, be a leader. Jump out there. Don't wait for consensus.
Much of this campaign is going to focus on the issue of the economy, and I know after the State of the Union address the other night, you criticized Obama for job creation. Could you talk a little bit about your job plan and how it differs from your opponent's views on job creation?
If you look at those tax returns of mine, you see where last year was not a good year for me. I still had to make a significant interest payment to the bank for my assets. The assets aren't bad, the economy's bad. And what's happened is the regulations that Barack Obama and the administration and Congress have placed on us has burdened and taken away my buyers of the assets that I have. Pure, plain and simple. It takes $1.7 trillion a year from small businesses to take care of the regulations that are put upon them. So we have done so many things to restrict growth by not being comfortable with what businesses can be assured of and certain with, that it's hurt businesses like mine.
Well, is there anything in particular, anything you can put meat on the bone about for a Craig James jobs plan that you would support if you were elected?
A couple of weeks ago, I was with the National Association of Manufacturers, and they were talking about what they really need. They need certainty. The uncertain times are killing them right now. And so we need to get into tax reform, corporate tax reform that everyone's talking about, moving toward a territorial tax system that would help them.
You have a rate?
I don't know what the rate is, but we right now are the second highest, right next to Japan. 35%. We've got to get way down below that. We're still the #1 producer of goods in the world at 21%. China #2 at 15%. Japan at 12%. We've got to get down to where we're competitive. Our cost to produce goods right now are already 20% higher, not including the cost of labor. So we got to get in line so we can be competitive.
Colleen?
Now, you got in this race late, and at this point, you're famous for playing football, you're famous for talking about football. How do you get past okay, I've heard of Craig James, I associate him with SMU, I associate him with ESPN. How do you make the case that you're more qualified for this job than a lieutenant governor, a former solicitor general, a former mayor of Dallas?
I've gone from talking about run defense at LSU, now I'm talking about the Strait of Hormuz, and I'm talking about Ahmadinejad and different names. Look, I think right now that we are in a unique situation in this country that needs someone to represent us who has a vast array of experiences, life experiences. Life's experiences have prepared me to ask the citizens of the state of Texas for their vote. You can't be right now, in my mind, a career politician or in a vacuum as an attorney to be able to go and to help represent us in Washington. All of the experiences that I have, whether you talk cattle business, hay business, my Craig James School of Broadcasting I created, the television and radio company that I produced and created, all of the jobs I provided, I get it. And I've been blessed with the ability to communicate. It's so important that you're able to communicate, like these folks that are calling me here,
okay,
that you can communicate with people so that you can be persuasive. And I have those communication skills and the vast array of experiences to pull upon to help get deals done.
Well, let me ask you about, you talked about the experience issue, but timing is also an issue here. If the primary holds April 3rd, that's just a little over 2 months away. Can you get your message out? Can you raise enough money? You came in late. You may self-finance some, but still, you know, it costs a lot to put out TV ads, get your name out, get your message out. Can you do that in 2 months?
You know what? I know I had the faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. I didn't jump into this race blindly, and I understand that. I have a great mission and task in front of me, monumental challenge for me to go get this done. But I hope people, every time they've heard me speak and they've heard my messages, it's resonated. Last week at a big Tea Party event, Ted Cruz's event down in Houston, I had a standing ovation. It was humbling what they did whenever, and that was his people. Last night or this week, whenever we had our press conference, you heard the people clap for me after I made that announcement of releasing my tax returns. People get it. And so now the challenge is, do I have enough time to get out there and share who I am, totally open, totally transparent, and why I have a passion for what I'm doing.
And just real quick follow-up, enough to get by what Dewhurst may throw into the race as far as TV and name ID? Well,
I certainly hope that Texas and Texans understand that we should not allow someone to be able to buy a seat at the table in Washington. That's not right. And so I'm hopeful that I can get enough money and that people will come in and support us.
Okay, very good. We're out of time. Thanks very much for joining us today. We appreciate it.